Hello guys and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Minecraft Legends. Yes, that's right. Finally another Minecraft game. But maybe not the ones that you guys want. So we get to pick our character here. There's 2 color variations per model, so you can kind of pick the one that appeals to you the most. Other than that, we just gotta jump in. So the game starts off with a simple intro cutscene where you kind of learn about these 3 gods that exist that don't appear anywhere in other Minecraft lore, but we'll just gloss over that. They give you a magic loot and some fire gems that you can summon these cute little dudes with. So these are the main minions of the games that help us fight because we can't really do anything on our own. And the things that we need to fight are apparently these cute little piglin-like creatures. This little cute piglin. And obviously there are other creatures to fight, and most of them being piglins because that's the main antagonist. After a quick tutorial and learning how to play, you're just thrown into the middle of a world that, as far as I can tell, isn't randomly generated, but it could be. I didn't do much research to it. And we're off to start our adventure. So it wants us to go and visit a village that's attacked, so we have to get there. Now the main movement in Minecraft Legends is riding your mount. It's fast-ish, but it also feels like it takes a bit too long to get from point A to point B. You can construct teleports using watchtowers, but they're a bit pricey when it comes to the early game, so you just kind of have to grunt it and start running. So we've arrived at the village here, and because we can't really do much damage, we have to summon our altars so we can summon some more minions to help us. Now this works as kind of like the Overlord mechanic in a game, if you ever played that, or kind of an RTS, real-time strategy style. So we've got down in the bottom right, you can see 20 maximum, but we've got 11. We don't need that. And you can just kind of use your sword to attack, but you mainly want to use these minions to help you. So the stone golems are really good at breaking down buildings. We don't have any here, but they kind of work as a siege unit. The wooden minions, which you can see right there, they work at anti-infantry, basically. They shoot things, but they're quite weak. So you want to use a combination of these different minions to siege different bases. We'll be going into that a little bit more later on when we verse some of the bigger forts that the piglins have built. So we finally liberated the village, and as their liberators, we get all their shit. So they'll give us a chest full of resources every now and then. Each biome has a different resource that you can get, and also you can kind of build defenses around each village. See a little bit more of that later, but right now we just got to build a carpenter's house so we can fix up this well and get it up and running. Now I haven't said this yet, but the art style is on point. Everything screams Minecraft, even though it has this kind of cel shaded texturing effect on it, which I'm pretty sure is to make each block stand out. But as you can see with that carpenter's hut building, is pure Minecraft. Great aesthetics. Now we're back to find another village that's under attack, and here starts my main complaints with the game. So number 1 is there are too many cutscenes. I finally get into the rhythm of playing the game. I'm building my army and, you know, fortifying defenses, and then I'm hit with another story cutscene, and I'm just completely unimmersed in what I'm doing. So I know they wanted to tell a story, but really I just want to kill pigs, man. So we do a little bit of base building here because the game tells us to, and this is kind of where the game shines a little bit. I do like the base building mechanic and stuff. So at the start we've only got walls, gates, and of course arrow towers. But all of these are the simplest buildings you can get. You do get other ones later on as you progress more in the storyline. But these ones can make perfectly fine defense. As you can see, the walls are angled and you pull them out. So this is really nice. You don't have to individually place like a certain wall. And because it's Minecraft, everything is on a grid, which makes building way more easier, even if everything doesn't look great, like my fortifications here. So finally we get to use our defense, but we don't really see how much it does, because we can just ride out into the middle of the field, meet them halfway and slaughter them all. So that's kind of how the gameplay works. You can also set these guys up if you wanted to as like a mobile sentry, but again, we can just run to the other side of our fortifications and just fight them. So we've seen defense. Now let's look at attack. So we're going to be attacking a piglin outpost. I have a few of my dudes with me, 20 of them to be precise. A lot of stone golems, little archers in the back there just to give us some supporting fire. But we're just gonna run into their outpost and basically charge down the wall. Now here's where some building is interesting. So you can build a bridge over practically anything, and it also goes at an angle, so you can build like a ramp. And this makes the world feel a lot more lived in, because there's a bunch of different buildings and stuff that you've used for these prior assaults. So our little stone dudes are currently just beating down the door, and as you can see, I'm having a little trouble here, like commanding them to attack the door. I would just kind of wish it worked on like a proximity based system, but we'll get this door open in no time.
Many hours later.
Any minute now. Soon. There we go, we finally got it down, and that lets us break into this area and just slaughter all of the pigs, which is the best part of this game. So currently there's a spawner in front of us where we have to destroy it so they stop spawning. There's 2 in this outpost. It's not a very big outpost. We'll see a much bigger one soon, TM. So when you finally destroy all the main buildings in a fort, it will all crumble around, but the corruption will stay. We do get a spell that cleans up the netherrack, but that's much later. Now we are attacking a huge fort, and we have teamed up with some of the iconic Minecraft enemies. That's right, they are now our friends. So we've got a bunch of villagers, zombie villagers that is. We've got some creepers and some skeleton archers. For some reason they look like testificates. I don't know why they decided to change the design of the archers. The skeletons is very weird. But here is my main gripe with the game. The controls are just very hit and miss. So you can kind of send stuff in with the Y button, or the triangle button, and that tells everyone in your party to go attack that area. You do get a hint to use a different system using the triggers, and kind of you can command stuff individually. But as you can see in this huge fight, there's a lot of stuff going on. I've sped it up because this took a good 5 to 6 minutes of just like going back to base, collecting a bunch of neutral mobs, getting some more mobs of myself, and just charging in there. Finally knocked down the gate, and now we're faced with 2 mini bosses. Now I call these mini bosses, they don't have health bars, but it took a long time to kill them with the mobs I had. So I'm trying to wrangle skeletons, everything, trying to get them in. Now what I could do, which I didn't, is destroy these siege towers that are in the top right. They're everywhere around the map. But I didn't bother to do that because I thought, you know, we can take it. It's the first fort, it must be easy. Oh no, as you can see, I got down to half a heart there, and when you die, everything kind of, it puts you back at your nearest spawn point, and then you got to do it all over again. So I summoned 10 of my dudes, a bunch of neutral mobs down. Neutral mobs don't count for the counter in the bottom right. That is how many mobs you can have summoned. So you can have potentially more than 20. I think you start off with maybe 35, and then through an upgraded system you can get more. So as we send all of our monsters in to die as the general runs back, collecting more civilians, conscribing them into the slaughterhouse that is this place. Now that we have a shit ton of skeletons, that portal is melting. And this is kind of where the game deviates from what we've had all this time. So we're now forced to fight these huge bases, but we still only have the 3 or 4 different minions that we started with. Now, speaking of huge bases, here is the map for what I would call second half of the game. Now, there are 3 different enemies, factions, and these factions do different things. So we have up the top is of the Hunt. They focus mainly on attacking. They have little to no defense. The Horde of the Spore Tribe is the green one to the right. Now, I didn't encounter them during my gameplay, but I can only assume they do something with poison and or some other magic-y stuff. And bottom left is the Horde of the Bastion. Now, they really like defense, so they mainly have really tricked out forts and everything. But basically, we've got to go in there, bust down a bunch of buildings, destroy the portal, and that gives us a lot of resources that we can then use to upgrade traits and other things. Now, you use those traits here at the main middle part of the map. You'll build these monuments, and they give you the different things. So right now, this one cures netherrack, as we talked about. That one lets you collect these power towers that are around the map. They're basically, think of traps that you can use against the piglins in your defenses. But that does lead me to talk about one of the mechanics of this game. And as you can see in the bottom left, we have a bunch of resources. Now, we have the traditional wood and stone, which are gathered quite easily. Iron, which is a new resource that we just unlocked, used to build better golems. Prismarine, which is used to buy upgrades and build monuments. And finally, lapis, which is used to summon your mobs. Now, the Prismarine shards has a cap, and it's quite a low cap compared to what some of the upgrades cost. So if you were to do a medium-sized fort, the buildings that you destroy turn into shards, but you don't have enough time to collect them all, and sometimes you hit the cap. Anything that you don't pick up just fades into the world. Now, I feel like they could have fixed this by doing something like a treasure chest at the main base where you could collect stuff that has overfilled your inventory, but they kind of just didn't. So I found times when I would clear out a fort and then realize I don't have any space. I've just wasted like all my time, which is not a nice feeling. So my final thoughts of the game, I will leave this epic battle of me taking on one of the medium-sized forts so you guys can kind of feel some of the gameplay as I talk about what I liked and did not like. So what I liked about the game, I think the aesthetic is really good. It suits Minecraft. It's perfect. It feels like Minecraft. I like all the mob designs and the enemy designs, as well as the buildings, all really good aesthetically. This game is superb. Other than that, there's really not much else I like about the game. I feel like the gameplay is a bit too clunky when it comes to summoning these things. And of course, I played this solo, and you can play this multiplayer, so maybe it's a bit better to do it like that and more of a, 4 generals riding into a battle type thing. But otherwise, it was very slow. Complaint number 2 is I feel like the resources were a lot harder to come by when I needed them. Like, I had heaps of opportunities to get diamond and redstone and coal eventually, but I didn't need those resources at the moment. So I found myself running around the map trying to find iron so I could just build something cool. And that also led to another one of my complaints, which is moving from point A to point B. So basically, as I said before, you have one option, and that is using your horse. Now you can eat some grass and stuff like that as you're running through the overworld to get a speed boost, but it still feels like very lonely and kind of dull to just be moving around this big empty map with like a bunch of things following you. And yes, you can build watchtowers, but that costs iron, and once again it's a drain on your resources. So you got to think, is it worth building this teleportation here where I can fast travel, or is it worth doing something else? And normally 9 times out of 10 it's probably worth doing the other thing, unless you really hate running around. Finally, my last complaint is the AI of your troops. Sometimes I will put them here and tell them to go attack something, and they will attack it. And sometimes I'll tell them attack something and they just kind of stand still and they don't really do anything. Like, they might shoot at enemies, but I feel like half the time they're not doing that. So I don't know if they have to be told to shoot something or if they can just like run around. So I would like it if the mobs had a little bit of self AI where it's like, oh, there's an enemy near me, I want to attack that. I don't want to die, and then they'll start attacking it. That's kind of what I want. So all in all, this game is pretty average. I probably would kind of give it a 5.5 to 6. If you like RTSs, maybe 6.5, but nothing higher than that. It is a decent game. It captures Minecraft pretty perfectly, and it is a half decent RTS at the end of the day. Now to talk about the thing that I hate most. So this game cost $45 Australian. It's on Game Pass, but also it has a cash shop. Yes, that's right, a cash shop that you have to purchase with real money. You cannot earn this currency inside the game. They do have some free adventures which kind of act as like DLC, that at least the first one is free. I don't know about the other ones, but you can earn skins by completing that adventure. Now, I really hate microtransactions in a full cost game, and I just feel like it's incredibly lazy to do something here. You could have a cool chest that you could find which gave you different skins for your different characters and whatnot, something that would aid in exploration, but you've just defaulted to give us more money, which is annoying. But technically it doesn't have any impact on the game, so I'm not going to include it into my rating. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. This is a bit of a different video that I made, a bit more editing, a bit more forethought. If you guys liked it, leave a like, ring the bell, do all that YouTube stuff that people ask you to do, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.